Now in Dante's Inferno, in Cantos 8 and 9, our pilgrims will cross the swampy river Styx, ferried by Phlegyas. As they cross this swamp, a soul grabs their boat, and we get these words: "This one was a Tartar on earth. Nothing virtuous adorns his memory. That's why his ghost raves here. There, many think themselves kings who will be like pigs in shit. Here." Now, we're going to eventually learn that the name of this soul who grabs their boat is Filippo Argenti. And this is something that Dante does. It's a little annoying. He delays naming the soul. It can be irritating. And as we cross this river, we leave behind a distinct region. The sins of the souls who resided between the river Acheron and the Styx, excepting Limbo, all seem to have been driven by a sense of self-satisfaction rather than malice. Their sins involved no direct fraud or violence. Argenti serves as a good segue into the rest of the Inferno because he is the worst of the self-absorbed. In the commentary of Dante's son, Jacopo Alighieri, he calls Filippo Argenti l'altezza della arroganza, the height of arrogance, culminating this region inhabited by the self-absorbed who pursued self-satisfaction in life. Argenti is described in the commentary of Boccaccio as a persona grande, as a big person, and as being dark and muscular and of marvelous strength. And I found a rendering of Filippo Argenti by a New England artist, this guy Robert Brinkerhoff, who seems to have latched on to this description of Boccaccio. He is the first person whose damnation Dante approves, and more, Dante relishes his torments. "Master," he says to Virgil, "I'd really like it if I saw him dunked in this swill." And Virgil says, "It's right, you should enjoy such a wish." We have been invited to get entertainment value from the macabre torture in hell. It is time to start enjoying ourselves. And very soon I saw the pain the slimy people put him through, for which I'm still thanking God. He's still thanking God he got to see this jerk dunked in the shit. They all shout, "Get Filippo Argenti," and that fiery fool from Florence goes at himself with his teeth. Okay, you're reading this right. The guy starts gnawing at himself. The other sinners gang up on him. That's the first part of that line. They all shout, "Get Filippo Argenti." And he seems, by chewing himself, to obey that very command. This fiery fool from Florence goes at himself with his teeth. What are we supposed to make of this? Now, so first of all, the words fiery fool are not a literal translation from the original Italian. The original Italian is this: El Fiorentino Spirito Bizzarro. So Filippo Argenti embodies whatever this bizarre Florentine spirit is. And his actions in eating himself are in keeping with this Spirito Bizzarro. The commentary of the great Italian writer Giovanni Boccaccio defines this Spirito Bizzarro. Per ogni piccola cagione corrono in ira. For every small cause they run in wrath. Then he adds this: "Ne mai da quella per alcuna dimostrazione rimuovere si possono," which means, nor can they be removed from that or any demonstration. That means that this is a commentary on demonstrative mass movements. A person who is willing to go so far as to chew on themselves because they are so devoid of individuality that they will prosecute the latest moral imperative upon themselves. If they are the mob's target, so be it. That is the Spirito Bizzarro. And remember, his sin is self-absorption. The Stygian swamp is filled with sinners who thought themselves kings on earth. Dante is saying that the self-absorbed can be made to serve the popular will. Egotism is compatible with the mass movement. This matters because mass movements like to think of themselves as selfless, empathetic people conjoined by a heartfelt wish to improve humanity, up against the egotism of the individual. Dante is saying here, the showy demonstration of the mob bears the same sin as the gaudy height of arrogance. So much so that the self-absorbed will eat themselves for it. And that's my next question. What is the significance of self-mutilation beyond the point we've just made? Clearly, it fascinated him. What does it mean? It occurs to me that it is a demonstration of will. You prove the power of your principles by demonstrating what you're willing to do when infused with them. What could be more powerful than self-mutilation? Dante does not like this. That's why these people are in hell. And in keeping with the theme of misbegotten revolutionary fervor, the next people we meet are the fallen rebel angels who revolted against God in heaven as they approached the city of Dis. We must remember what we've just seen from Filippo Argenti as we assess what we see in Canto 9 and in the last part of Canto 8 as we approach the city of Dis. On their approach, we get the lines. Line 70 of Canto 8, Dante says, "I can see their mosques already, master, clear down there, and they're fire red like furnaces. And he tells me it's eternal fire that makes them red, burning inside. In this nether hell, as you see, at last we're at the deep ditches, fortifying this dire land whose walls seem to be built out of iron." So they get dropped off by the boatsman, and then he sees, "On the gates I saw hundreds, all slung from heaven, grumbling and asking, 'Who's this living one?'" Now what they say, we're going to do it in the next video, because I want to move on and talk about these Furies in Canto 9, because this is in keeping with the concept of self-mutilation. Okay? The Furies. A trio, this is line 38 of Canto 9. "A trio of Furies suddenly came, female in appearance and figure. The Furies appear to taunt them from within the city, while Dante and Virgil are waiting for an angel to come and open the door for them because the inhabitants have shut them out and won't let them in. And as Virgil speaks to them, these are the lines, 'So he spoke as they tore themselves with nails, beating their breasts, howling, so I sheltered near the poet for fear.'" Here I think the self-mutilation is still a demonstration, but I think there's also something different than what we saw from Filippo Argenti. Filippo Argenti was caught up with the mob. His demonstration was more clearly for the rest of the throng of which he was a part. There seems to be a different sense of frustration from the Furies. What had immediately preceded this moment was the fallen angels told Virgil to abandon Dante and to leave him to die while trying to figure out his way out of hell. And Virgil resisted this. He didn't do what they told him to. He had a parley and he didn't listen to them. And here come the Furies in what you could call a reaction to learning of a person immune to the suggestion of the heretics. Because the city of Dis, we're about to find out, is for heretics. And here they are ripping themselves apart, all bloody. They were doing that anyway, but I think their frustration is worse. Seeing people who are immune to their persuasion. The Furies are the sort of people who are insulted deeply by disagreement. The interpretation in the Italian of the L'ottimo commento, it is written there that the chest beating of the Furies is a sign of their sadness to see humanity ruled by reason.